Have you ever heard about Frankfurter Würstchen? You don't have? Then you should follow this guide, because as Frankfurt, a one-province minor free city inside of the HRE, we became Westphalia. We've revoked the Privelegia and we followed the protestant faith and became the strongest power within Europe. Within only a few years of time, we climbed up from a one-province minor to number 6 in the world. Of course, it's already 1650, that's a little bit late, but pretty sure if you follow my guide, you can do it way earlier and you can dominate Europe as Frankfurt. As usual, if you like what you hear, please feel free to leave a subscribe behind. Thank you, and now enjoy Frankfurt. As Frankfurt, you have to make sure to find the right allies. First of all, in the long run, we want to become emperor, but we start, as you already know, as a free city, so we are a republic, can re-elect our current ruler multiple times. I suggest to restart until you have at least a ruler with at least 333, or even better. That's easily possible with 1 or 2 restarts. Yes, I have done that too. Though my ruler is pretty good and I will focus on the first day on military, because we want to become a military powerhouse. Second, we need to look for allies. I'm looking for Saxony, and additionally I want to have the Palatinate. Currently, they do not want to ally me because I am too weak. So what do we do? First of all, we will hire our so-called free city company. The free city company is special to a free city, only they have them. They have a free company and furthermore a free city company. Additionally, we deleted our cavalry. Next, we go to the estates. In the estates, we give out a lot of powers to the estates, because we can have 0% crown land and still get all benefits, because we are just a one province minor. So we start with religious state, clerical advisory council, and additionally religious culture and religious diplomats. For the nobility, we do primacy of nobility, we do aristocratic councillors, increased levies, and supremacy over the council. That's it. For burghers, we will be very, very poor. We only give out one estate, one edict, because the burghers already have 66% influence. If we hand out more, it will only get worse. To give out something to the burghers, we first need to summon the diet. Give out any kind of diet you like. I will just pick the burghers mission. Furthermore, seize land. After seizing land, you can hand out land of commerce. That's it. Nothing more, because right now we are already at 75% influence, but the equilibrium, because we are a free city, is at 51%. That's totally fine. If you want, you can hire an advisor for now. For example, this +1 guy in Dip Rep. If you have it, if you don't have it, just start improving relations with Saxony and the Palatinate. I will ally immediately the Palatinate, done, and now the next step is I will just wait until the free city company is done, and afterwards I should be able to ally them too. If they are not willingly, you can improve relations, but as you can see, it's already possible, so now I've allied them too. What else do you need to know? Frankfurt starts already with the Westphalian mission tree. That's actually pretty good, because it's a powerful mission tree. Our first mission is to make sure that we conquer our surroundings. So it's basically Hesse and Mainz. For that, you will build claims on both of them. And furthermore, if you have done that, start building claims on Nassau and Würzburg. I cannot tell you which one you should attack first, because it is a free game and it's a sandbox game, so every time something different could happen. I will just start building claims and see who will be my first victim. Do not forget, we are a free city, and if we take land, the emperor will ask back for it. So we need to vassalize now first war, but we talk about later when there is time. My first war will be against Mainz. Mainz has some allies like Cologne and Berg, but I have more allies. I have the Palatinate, I have Saxony, and Nassau and Rothenburg asked to be allied with me. Though fine, I just accepted it for now. Now it's time to declare war against Mainz. Keep in mind, we don't want to take any provinces for them. We call in all our allies, even if we do not want to give them anything. It's just for an easier first war. As you could see, in the meantime, I'm improving relations with Austria, but it will take some years until they are willingly to ally us, because we are actually pretty weak. Furthermore, if you have the money, you could ally one of the advisors for your army. I will pick for now the army reformer guy because it gives us a slight buff on the military side. Furthermore, I make my ruler a general, and that's it. And now it's time to declare war against Mainz. Our troops should be stronger than them because we have a stronger buff and more allies. Afterwards, just occupy all kind of land and make sure that you vassalize Mainz. Your first war could look like that. Your allies have beaten down all the kind of enemies, though what is really important, as usual, we end rivalries with all the kind of enemies because it gives a lot of prestige. Sadly, we called in a lot of our allies, so it's divided by each ally, so it doesn't matter so far. For Cologne, actually, I would suggest that you transfer trade power, take money, and only end one rivalry if you are in a position like that. Why? Because Cologne is owning a center of trade within the Frankfurtian/Rhineland trade node. So that is actually very, very beneficial for us because it will give us more money. As mentioned, we will vassalize Mainz, but we do it with a small little twist. We will hand out one province to the Palatinate. Why is that? Because in the moment we vassalize them, Palatinate will get one province, so less aggressive expansion for us, and furthermore, because the Palatinate is not allied to Austria, Austria will ask to deliver back Aschaffenburg to Mainz. So less aggressive expansion for us. We made our ally happy because we handed out a province, but actually we did not give them anything. So actually this is very, very good, right? We tricked them. Trier is only allied to Hesse, and Hesse is one of our other rivals. So this is actually very, very good for us. With one war we can do two things. First, show strength, and B, humiliate our enemies. So again, we go a war against Trier. I know we don't call in allies, but we will be strong enough. And as you've seen, our allies will now break alliance with us because we actually tricked them. Who cares? During our humiliation war against Trier and Hesse, the first election came up. Really important, always re-elect your current Bürgermeister. It doesn't matter, because the public tradition will maybe get down, but to have a better ruler who has better stats is way more important than just having some republic tradition, especially in the beginning. As you can see, we are done with our humiliation war. One big advantage of a free city / of any kind of republic in the beginning is you will be always advanced in technology. We will just have a lot of innovativeness in the beginning. At the same time, when your first ruler dies, normally you will be ready to select a new government reform. For republics, please look at my guides that I've just published recently. Always go for republicanism. It helps you that your republic tradition stays on top. Now let's end our war with Hesse and Trier. For Hesse, as mentioned, we humiliate them, and that's it for now because we want to keep the peace deal time very short. Humiliation is fine, and with that we already achieved the first age goal, humiliate rival. Next thing for Trier, we don't care so much, but we take show strength, and with that we get 100 mana points everywhere. And that's actually pretty good. And now let's go forward. Free cities have a lot of flavor events. This is just one of them, and I'm really happy that it happened so early. The City League suggestion. I don't know how it gets triggered, but sometimes you get invited by another free city and they ask us, hey, do we want to join the City League suggestion? And yes, basically our free city will get way stronger. We get natural unrest, global trade power, manpower, and land force limit plus 25% and 1000 manpower for free. Just clicking a button and give them 100 Diplo points. Of course we do that. This makes our little city way stronger. I really love that kind of flavorful buff. The next thing what we need to do is to buff up our city, right? Sooner or later you will have 100 coins, use this kind of ducats and start building a marketplace. As I mentioned, Frankfurt belongs to the Rhineland trade node, and this is one of the strongest trade nodes within Germany. It's not as strong as Lübeck and of course the English Channel, but Rhineland can be pretty strong and pretty competitive. Additionally, start hiring advisors. You will have enough money. I have 3 advisors right now and I'm still earning money. So build your economy, as Frankfurt is pretty strong. Sooner or later you will have there will be the moment when you pick your first idea. I will strongly suggest that in the beginning you stay a free city, and for that it's only natural that you select influence as your first idea. That will keep your vassals in check. Furthermore, your vassals will give you more money. And have you maybe spotted it? Aschaffenburg is back under control for Mainz because the Emperor asked the Palatinate to hand it back. Additionally, because you are a farmland land with Frankfurt, I suggest use an edict, encourage development and dev up your country to at least 30 development or even further to spawn the Renaissance. As our second government reform, we will choose frequent elections. Shorter elections mean your ruler gets better stats, starts way faster, and better stats means more mana production. Additionally, don't forget dev up the country. I've decided to dev up Frankfurt a little bit more. Right now we're 37 development, and I guess there is no other city in the world that has as much development as our little city. And I think even Constantinople has only 34, though Frankfurt is the highest developed location in the world currently, and that allows us of course to embrace the Renaissance. And our next war will be actually against Nassau. Mainz put a claim on them, and what we will do now is we slowly vassalizing our surroundings, and of course as soon as possible we try to ally Austria. 1471, and actually I am almost able to ally Austria. Now we have 0 relations. Now what I will do is I will use one of their rivals, send them a scornful insult. That is always helpful. And now we are at 166 relation. Finally, 1471, after 25 years, Austria is willing to ally us. That allows us to take here more missions, relations with the Emperor. Gives us more tax income and of course 1 dip rep. Additionally, this kind of mission pops up when you have 25 development, build a marketplace, a workhouse and a cathedral or / temple. Then you can do a center of commerce. That gives us idea cost reduction, institution spread and workers loyalty. If you have 2 running idea slots, this is actually very useful to get them both on lots of discounts and to level them up. As you could see, because I had always all the time a super good ruler, I'm already filled up my influence ideas. There's only one thing missing. And Hesse is now my vassal, Nassau is my vassal, Mainz is my vassal, and I pushed for a territory back here in the Thuringia area. Now it's almost time to integrate my vassals, but I think there's still a little bit more time to become or stay a free city. There's one unique event that only Frankfurt gets. That is called the coronation event. Historically wise, in Frankfurt, always the emperor has been coronated. So that's why we get this lovely event, and we are blessed indeed, and we get a lot of little small bonuses, and minus 10% development cost for 10 years is actually pretty good. And the prestige and diplomatic reputation, I really do love that. And maybe you have already seen it and spotted it. I really expanded strongly. So with Nassau, I pushed a lot of claims here, especially in the Cologne area. And for Hesse, I took one more province from Cologne too. So I'm basically feeding everything step by step to my vassals. When the game goes on, it's of course time to take more power from the lands into our hands. For that, we need to integrate vassals, right? For integration of vassals, always make sure that you hand out the nobility integration policy. With that one, the -3 dip rep will not happen to you, and furthermore, it's -5% vassallation integration cost, so it's cheaper. What you can furthermore see is I'm currying favors with Austria, because in the moment when Mainz is still existing, we want to move the electorship from Mainz to Frankfurt. And this has been added in 1.34, and I absolutely adore and love that functionality. When you have enough trust with the emperor or curried enough favor, you can request the electorate. In my case, I have gathered an additional 10 favors, and I'm already at 75 trust with them. Moving my last favors to trust allows me to request the electorate. Make sure, of course, you have 200 relations with Austria, and afterwards you can just easily request the electorate, and the emperor accepts, of course. And now Frankfurt, the once known free city, is an elector. Of course, we are still a republic, and that is the next thing what we will change. To do that, we of course need to gather more lands to form Westphalia. This will happen very, very soon, and additionally, we want to become a monarchy. When you have conquered and integrated enough lands to form Westphalia, two things will happen. First of all, you will switch from Frankfurt to Westphalia. Second, the government rank changes to kingdom. This is actually super good, because until now we are just a duchy, and we could not upgrade our government because we have only 294 development, and we would need 50 prestige. With that, we can basically two things at once. We become a kingdom, and we don't need the 300 development. The missions will of course stay the same, but what will change are your ideas. Frankfurtian ideas are only mediocre, right? You have some national power, you have moral when you have completed everything, you have idea cost, institution spread, dip rep, a little bit for the money, spionage network, prestige, production efficiency, and republican tradition. I think that's not very helpful. Westphalia, on the other hand, has a really strong mission idea set. They got another diplomat, that is nice to have in the HRE. They have 20% land force limit modifier. That is the old offensive mission stuff. Additionally, you have idea cost, you have development cost reduction, you have national manpower, you have cheaper advisors, you get additionally more tax. Forget about the tolerance of Hessen and Terex, but furthermore, you get provincial trade power modifier, and that will make us a strongest trade node inside of Rhineland. To mix it all up, as you could see, I've picked economic ideas. Economic plus influence gives a tremendous amount of vassal force limit contribution, and we got, of course, the minus 10% death cost. Mix that up with 5% from Westphalian idea, and because we switched to Protestant during the game, we've got another 5% there. So we are back to 20% development cost reduction as it was in 1.33. Though now we have a crazy land force limit of 49, and that only with a few provinces. Let's see where that goes. The moment when you switched to Westphalia with the upgraded ideas, one thing you should keep in mind. You need to pay attention what kind of religion is the way you want to go. I switched to Protestant because I felt like with 2 centers of Reformation close by, it is actually a very good plan for me to change to Protestant. The change to Protestant additionally empowered me to think about one monument. This is the Cologne Cathedral. The Cologne Cathedral gives me cost of enforcing religion through war by -10 and -33 in the most upgraded version. I will try to upgrade this monument as fast as possible, because with that, even countries that have more war score like I can conquer, I could easily convert them. I can force convert them. And even if they are not co-belligerent in a war, with the Age of Reformation idea, religious war -25%, it's actually -50% to enforce religion on a neighbor. So actually this is really, really good and really, really powerful. So use this kind of power. Furthermore, what I have not shown you and not talked about is, shortly before I moved to Westphalia, I've changed my government type from a republic to a monarchy. And that is very easy to explain, because a republic cannot become the HRE emperor. And you are following the HRE emperor channel, right? So you now want to become the emperor. Over the next few years now, we of course slowly still expand into the Rhineland node, and sooner or later we need to fight against Austria. So the goal should be, of course, to change a lot of religions within the HRE. Try to make anyone or everyone Protestant. If there is something like that, a reformed center of trade, try to destroy it and make the country Protestant. And in the end, only Austria will survive as a singly Catholic country in the HRE. So then it will be a very easy religious war. The religious war happened for me around 1580. We totally stumped the emperor and all his allies. So as you could see, there were not so many guys fighting on the side of the emperor. Even Russia had no chance against the Protestant power. I am now, as Westphalia, the emperor, and furthermore I get 0.2 imperial addition every month. And as you could see, not many privileges or reforms have been taking place. So for me it will now be a long run until I'm able to reform and centralize the Protestant HRE. For that, there are many things you need to consider. First of all, there are still provinces under control of France that we need to conquer back. Saluzzo owns some, here Nitra owns some, and of course Denmark. Additionally, there's one mission here. It's called Peace of Westphalia, and that is unique to Westphalia. They got a permanent imperial authority modifier 0.1, and with that now we are already at 0.33. That is pretty good, but not good enough. What we will do is furthermore build claims down to Prague and get the historical center of Prague. Another 0.15 imperial authority is actually a huge thing. In my game, it took me another 60 years after I've won the religious war to gather enough imperial authority to revoke the Privelegia. When you revoke the Privelegia, everyone who is happy with you and who has the same faith as you will become your vassal. In my case, there are 3 princes who do not want. If I revoke the Privelegia now, there are only two guys left who are not part of that. On the one hand, it's Goslar. On the other hand, it's Austria. So these both countries need to be regathered into the HRE. So what should you do now if you're at that state of the game? You need to know that you are the most powerful country now in the world. You will have the most development because all your kind of vassals will give you money. Right now I'm earning 288 ducats. I'm in a medium trade node, not the best one, and I have, of course, a huge force limit of almost 1000 troops in the 1650s. What you can do now is you can start conquering France, you can reconquest Carthage Belly against Ottomans if you, for example, have Hungary as me as a vassal, and of course you can move into the Commonwealth to get bigger and bigger. With the vassal swarm of Westphalia, nobody can basically stop you. Let's summarize one more time. How do I start as Frankfurt? As Frankfurt, first thing what you should do is look for valid countries next to you and vassalize them. Second, try to build a good relationship with the emperor that you sooner or later can ally them so that you can conquer lands directly. Next thing is government reforms. I can't show you anymore because I'm a monarchy right now, but go for government reforms that support your republic tradition in the beginning and gives you furthermore frequent elections. If you have done that, that is the main thing. After you have changed to a monarchy, you go for everything that increases absolutism, because as Frankfurt, a free city, you will be roughly switching in the 1540s, 1550s to a kingdom monarchy. And if that happens, you go for strengthen the noble privileges for more manpower. You can go for representatives of the crown because it gives you more force limit contribution. And I was choosing head of the Reformed Church because I was going Protestant, what gives me more diplomatic reputation and improved relation. I would not need that now anymore. I would actually change to something different after I've revoked. And of course, meritocratic recruitment for tier 5, tier 6. I only took the aristocratic card because I needed the diplomatic reputation. Now I would actually change to royal decree for more absolutism. Tier 7, because we pick economic ideas, Loceum Provisio is your first pick. Afterwards, it doesn't really matter so far anymore. But at tier 9 there's something really nice. It's called divine rights. With divine rights, war score cost versus other religion goes down by 5%, and that's actually pretty nice. Idea-wise, I strongly recommend to open with influence ideas because in the beginning you have a lot of vassals and you need to keep them in check. Economic ideas help you to buff up your country. As you could see, I have here Mainz at Nassau. Mainz is at 44. Frankfurt is at 54, and I have other cities here that's always around the 30s. You have some very good trade goods, like you produce a lot of clothes within the Rhineland trade node, and you have crystal and you have paper. So actually there are really good trade goods within the Rhineland trade node. Expansion wise, of course, expand as much as possible inside of the HRE, but if you want to play the HRE game, make sure that there are enough tags left, and make sure that you get a lot of imperial authority. Monument wise, there are 2 monuments that I really strongly recommend. One of it is Historic Center of Prague. The second is in Cologne, the Cologne Cathedral. When you are Westphalia and change to Protestant, make sure that you upgrade it to level 3, because at level 3 it makes it easier to enforce religion through war by minus 33%. Really nice. So that was my short guide on Frankfurt or Westphalia. I think Westphalia is not played often enough, and I think it's a real underdog inside of the HRE. What kind of underdog nation you like to see? Did you enjoy Westphalia? If you enjoyed it, please leave a like behind, recommend my channel to others, and of course subscribe if you have not already done it. Thanks a lot for watching, and Gott mit uns, as the Protestant faith guys said.